Alright, so I guess the goal of this video is to find people that can relate to my situation. I'm the type of person that likes to flow with the trends when it comes to gaming. Throughout my childhood, Halo was huge. It was a first-person shooter that all of my friends played for hours on end, and that eventually led me into playing Call of Duty. COD became even more popular than Halo within my friend group, and that game remained the most popular until recently. Throughout my entire high school career, Call of Duty was always the peak of my gaming experience, both casually and competitively. After having a couple years of college under my belt, I realized that I didn't have quite as much time to game, but at the same time, Call of Duty was dying. Unfortunately, it is undeniably true that the game has undergone some form of change, and that change is clearly not for the better. I never expected to see it die, but now I can say that at least for me and my friends, COD is dead, and Fortnite is the game that has taken its place. I have to admit that this is challenging for me to see. I've seen Call of Duty make some pretty terrible decisions in the past. Now, I know they didn't make these decisions intentionally to harm the game or to reveal some sense of greed. Game developers are people too. But the fact of the matter is that I and many of my friends view COD as a game that is simply trying to make a quick buck on its way out of popularity. Now, with all of that said, I want to get to the point I'm struggling to make. I don't want to see Call of Duty fail, and don't hate me for that. This is the game that I grew up on, and I have enjoyed it for a long time, and for good reason. People love to hate on the game, and that's perfectly okay. A game like Call of Duty should receive criticism, and every video game for that matter should receive criticism at some point during its life cycle, especially ones that are extremely popular. But this year, like all years, Call of Duty has another opportunity to change. It could potentially win back its fans. Black Ops recently had their reveal event, and they showed a large number of promising things. The biggest standout from the presentation, at least for me, was definitely the Battle Royale mode. With Battle Royale being popular right now, Call of Duty has the opportunity to literally jump on the bandwagon and get away with it. Unfortunately, I have to admit that I was not completely blown away by their presentation. But there is still that small inkling of hope that Call of Duty can come back. Before this presentation, I admittedly had no hope whatsoever, but if they're able to change and they're able to convince their audience that money is not the most important aspect of their business, regardless of what the most important aspect of their business is, and that should probably be money, but they need to convince their audience that this is not the case. Thankfully, a lot of their audience is children, so they'll probably buy into it regardless, but the content creators are a huge section that needs to be won over. Regardless of what they think, content creators have a huge influence, and if that influence isn't a positive one, then they have no way of surviving much longer. These are basically just my original thoughts taken away from the reveal, and I look forward to covering any future news that they might put out. I understand that my opinion is extremely biased considering I grew up with the game, but if there's any way Call of Duty could bounce back, that's something that I would be open to. I think the game has the basis to be great. It just needs to do it in the right way. I think I can finally say that I've jumped off the Call of Duty bandwagon, but I would love to get back on, so with that, here's to being hopeful for a better Call of Duty, I guess. I know this commentary has kind of been all over the place, so if you find anything weird that I've said, or if you disagree, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I'll probably be making a follow-up video to this one, at least at some point later this year. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.